fully grow, so I'll only have a half a lung on one side and about a 3/4 of a lung on the other side. So I have 50% lung capacity. And I was born at Kaiser Hospital, and then they discovered that I had the diaphragmatic hernia, so they transferred me to Sutter Memorial Hospital. And there I was put on an ECMO machine, which is a heart-lung bypass machine, and it takes my blood out, puts oxygen into it, and then puts the oxygenated blood back into my body. Kind of does the things lungs and heart do, but mine couldn't do that. And so babies are usually on this machine for about 6 days, and I was so weak I had to be on it past then. So we got to the 10th day mark, and the doctors told my parents to prepare for my death because the numbers were so low, and they said they couldn't help me. And so my parents prayed for a miracle and called everyone they knew, and it happened. My numbers went way up, and I was breathing almost on my own, and God performed a miracle then, but I still wasn't strong enough to, survive completely on my own. I still had a feeding tube because I couldn't eat by myself, and I still had a few more surgeries to go through. And so when I was about 2 months old, they discovered, or my mom saw that my head was getting big or whatever. It was just kind of a bad thing. And I could only look down. My eyes were really wide, and I could only look down. And so she was wondering what was going on. So the doctor came in, and he did a CAT scan, which is kind of like a brain scan thing. And he thought that I didn't have a brain. He couldn't find it on the scan. And so...
It's not that funny.
Yeah. So they told my parents I would be brain dead because I didn't have a brain. And so my mom demanded that they get a brain surgeon in to see if he knew anything. And so he looked at the thing, and he looked at me and said, I probably have hydrocephalus, which is another big word. Yeah, exactly. I had too much water in my brain, and so they had to, my mom went to all these conferences before, so she kind of had a clue on what it was, but she wasn't sure. And so again, they prayed for a miracle, but before the doctor told them that it was hydrocephalus, apparently God spoke to my mom and said, look up this verse in the Bible. She cannot to this day remember what it is, and I don't know what it is either, but it says, I will heal your daughter at daybreak. And that's what the doctors found out that morning, the next morning, that I had hydrocephalus. And so they quickly did the surgery, and after I was done recovering from the surgery, I was back to normal. Everything was whatever I was doing before. Not exactly what a perfect, healthy baby would do, but good enough, I guess. And so,
So you're like 2-3 months old at this time?
I was 2 months old, yeah. And then I still had some challenges to overcome. After I was done with that, they finally figured out that I was strong enough to perform the diaphragm surgery, which is patching up my diaphragm and putting all my organs back to where they're supposed to be. And so they put a silicone patch right here, which doesn't grow with you. And so later on, I got this lat muscle surgery. So they took this muscle right here and weaved it through and made a diaphragm out of it. And so my muscle's right here, working as a diaphragm, and it's been growing with me for about 8 years, which is amazing to me. And, where am I? Way farther. So, I guess it was a miracle, because my parents were given a 5% chance of me living when I was born, because they weren't sure what was going on, what was happening, if I would live or not. And if I lived, I was supposed to be brain dead. And so couldn't express how. Are you really crying? I just feel so grateful of what God's done in my life. It's almost like I haven't experienced it because I was so young for most of my surgeries that I think it kind of affects the people around me more than it affects me, which I'm kind of grateful of because I'm glad it didn't happen now, you know, I'm all freaked out about it. I still have another surgery next summer, which I'm so looking forward to. Because when I was on the ECMO machine, my chest wall was sucked in, and so instead of being flat, it has like a V shape in it, and it's all caved in. And so I have to get, I think I have to get my sternum broken and put back flat or something. So, and then also my shunt for my brain thing is in the way, so they have to move that. And might have to shave my head and all these other things that are just fun. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll bring you candy.
Okay.
Oh, you won't shave your head, but you'll bring candy.
No, thank you guys. It's amazing to me that everyone would want to do that. So there's a few kind of fun facts, not really fun, but different facts about these surgeries. So I kind of remember hearing that the shunt, this little drain thing, was created by a doctor, and he had a son with hydrocephalus. So he was trying to figure out a way to like make something that would work, and it actually turned into something amazing, and it actually worked. So I think it saved his son's life. And so I already told you about the silicone patch, how it doesn't grow, so we need a new surgery to put the muscle over here. And I had that surgery when I was 6, and now I'm 14. It works really well, and I don't know if I'll have to deal with that again. Hopefully not, but probably. And then as far as the shunt goes, they said that I'm supposed to get it out around the age of 20, but they're not sure how well, if it's actually working still or not, if I need it. I don't really want to test that out. If I am using it, kind of a nightmare. I don't know. It's one of my biggest fears to get another surgery, and I have to face it next year. When everyone, like at church, they always say, write down your biggest fear, and I'm like, having another surgery, and everyone goes, what? Why? I'm like, I don't know, but yeah, I just feel really blessed that I have a chance to share this, because I wasn't supposed to live, so